Hey guys, this is Comic-Uno, and I'm finally back with some revenge reviews and TV reviews in general, because we've had our hiatus for the holidays, and now we're seeing some shows come back, which is great. But let's talk about Revenge. Revenge is definitely the earlier show that came back. I wasn't expecting it to come back so early, but obviously very happy that it did, and it seems like it's going to continue without a hiatus for a while, which is great. But let's talk about this episode. Obviously, last episode was humongous with the death of Daniel, so this is the aftermath of how people grieve over Daniel, especially Emily and Victoria. And then Emily trying to create a story, that way she could protect her family from Malcolm Black, and obviously David doing the same thing. But the police is starting to see that things aren't adding up, is Emily losing her game, and the police end up believing her for now. But we do see by the end of the episode that Malcolm Black is in town, and he will definitely be a big threat for the rest of the season. So what did I think about the episode as a whole? It was pretty good. You know, I like this episode. Obviously, it's a bit of a slower episode because obviously you need it. You need a slow episode after a death episode, and you need a grieving episode. And I would have liked a little bit more reference of Daniel. It's definitely just Victoria and Emily, and I guess everyone surrounding them dealing with the death, but less of why Daniel was such a good person. But they do add a lot. You know, they do have it in the episode, but I felt like I would have liked a little bit more fluff in a way for Daniel, because he was such an important character. Also going to a negative, Charlotte. Charlotte was not in this episode. I don't know if the actress was busy or they just don't want her in the season anymore. But even though there are people that don't really like Charlotte, I do want to see that character grow, and I still think she has a possibility of growing if they actually write her back into the show, and this probably could have been a good way to do that. Maybe there's too many storylines going on, but it was a little bit of a shame that we didn't see Charlotte react to Daniel's death and only a reference in this episode. But overall, I did like the episode because you get to see some really interesting grievance between Emily and Victoria, like I've been saying. Victoria having to trust Emily and lie about Daniel's death, and see that she's kind of human, and still be, you know, the queen bee, you know, the bitch of the show, by not inviting Emily to the funeral. But that's also just more politics between Margot, which I will get into Margot's story. But I kind of like Victoria here, because like I said, you see some humanity with her, but she doesn't but she still keeps her character with her humanity. So I thought that was a good point in the episode. And then Emily, you know, not really being on her game because she's grieving over Daniel, and really seeing her true feelings for Daniel, and why Daniel was such an interesting character, and at least towards the end, is that he really wasn't a bad guy. You know, he was just part of a bad family. And Emily's really starting to realize that she loves him, and she's very robotic, and obviously she's just trained herself to be that way, and her emotions are, and she's grieving in a way that's robotic, but at the same time needs to grieve in her. Her body's like, I need to grieve, but she's still trying to be the strong Emily she always is. So I think those are really some interesting dynamics throughout the whole episode. Now Margot's going to have a bigger role in the season because she does have the baby of Daniel, and she wants to have revenge on Emily. Now, I'd rather, obviously that story arc is important, but I'd rather have had Charlotte's story more than the Margot story, because I always felt like Margot was this additional character that never really blended well in the show, and still doesn't really blend well. So now that she wants revenge on Emily, it's like there are bigger problems than Margot needing revenge on Emily. Understandably why, you know, she's doing these things, but we got Malcolm Black problems. We don't need Margot problems right now. But it's just that small threat you have. And then also Louise, like, why are you still in this show? Like, I'm not adding up what the hell her story's about. So other than that, I do think this was a good episode, a good grieving episode, and I think it does set up for an interesting next half of the season with Malcolm Black, and still continuing to be such an improvement from season 3, and just the show in general has just been a big improvement. So overall, I thought this was a pretty good episode to come back and some great emotions here. So hope you guys enjoyed. Of course, I'll have a review for Revenge next week. This is Comic Uno. Guys, don't forget to follow me on Twitter for Comic Uno and the Random Situations. Don't forget to like my Facebook page. Also, description below, there's links for my comic book, Like Father, Like Daughter. And don't forget to like the Facebook page of Like Father, Like Daughter. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.